Admiral Park took a deep breath as he watched the alien ship approach Earth's orbital station. The massive vessel gleamed in the sunlight, covered in strange symbols and lights. This was the day humanity had waited for. First contact with an advanced alien civilization. Park's uniform felt tight around his neck. He had been chosen to represent Earth's military forces, standing alongside political leaders from major nations. They had prepared for years for this moment, but no one knew exactly what to expect. The Confederation vessel docked with a gentle hiss. Park kept his face calm, though his heart raced. The airlock doors slid open, revealing tall, slender beings with pale blue skin and large, dark eyes. Their leader stepped forward. High Commander Tal stood nearly 7 feet tall. His movements were graceful as he approached the human delegation. When he smiled, his face stretched in a way that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Earth representatives, we greet you," Tal said through a translator device on his collar. His actual speech was a series of clicking sounds and musical tones. "The Galactic Confederation welcomes you to the community of spacefaring civilizations." President Chen stepped forward and offered traditional Earth greetings. The formal exchange continued, with both sides presenting gifts and statements of peace. Later, during a private tour of the station, Tal placed a long-fingered hand on Park's shoulder. "Your military vessels are quaint. Simple designs, basic propulsion systems, but admirable for a species at your stage of development." Park nodded politely. "We have much to learn from the Confederation." Indeed, Tal agreed. Most species require centuries of guidance before they truly understand galactic technology. The condescension in Tal's voice was unmistakable. Park noticed how the alien's eyes flickered with something like amusement when examining Earth's modest space fleet. The Admiral kept his expression neutral, revealing nothing. 2 days later, the Earth delegation was invited aboard the Confederation vessel for formal negotiations. The ship's interior was vast, with soaring ceilings and technology that seemed magical. Hovering displays, doors that appeared and disappeared, and gravity that changed in different sections. During the meeting, the Confederation outlined their terms. Earth could join as a developing member with limited voting rights. Humans would receive basic technology upgrades in exchange for resources and agreement to Confederation laws. Earth's military would remain independent, but would be restricted to Earth's solar system. "This is standard for new species," Tal explained. "You must be protected until you better understand galactic politics." President Chen asked careful questions about trade possibilities and knowledge exchange. Park remained silent, watching how the alien's body language changed when discussing military matters. When the meeting ended, the human delegation returned to Earth to discuss the terms. Park traveled immediately to a secure facility beneath Seoul, where Earth's true leadership gathered. Deep underground, President Kim welcomed the returning representatives. Unlike the public-facing leaders who met with the aliens, Kim was Earth's actual commander-in-chief. She listened carefully to their report. "So they see us as primitive," she said when they finished. "Did their scans detect anything unusual?" "No, Madam President," Park replied. "Our shielding technology worked perfectly. They focused their scans on our visible infrastructure and the decoy military bases. Project Leviathan remains undetected." Defense Minister Lee brought up a holographic display showing a massive construction hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean. The real scale of it was hard to comprehend. A supercarrier larger than any vessel ever built on Earth, using technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien ships discovered decades ago. "The Confederation believes our most advanced ships are these," Lee said, showing images of the outdated vessels Earth had allowed the aliens to see. "They have no idea what we've actually achieved." Science Director Bai added, "Their reaction confirms our theory. The Confederation treats all new species this way, offering protection while essentially making them second-class members." "Did you learn anything about their enemies?" Kim asked. "Yes," Park said. "They're currently in a standoff with something called the Draxian Empire. From what we could gather, the Draxians are aggressive expansionists who've been pushing Confederation boundaries for centuries. Kim studied the faces around the table. We have a choice to make: accept their terms and play the role of the grateful primitive species, or reveal our true capabilities now. After a moment of silence, Park spoke. If we reveal what we have now, they'll want to know how we achieved it. They might see us as a threat rather than an ally. I recommend we accept their terms while completing Project Leviathan. I agree, said Lee. We should gather more intelligence on Confederation technology and political structure before showing our hand. Kim nodded slowly. Very well. We'll join the Confederation under their terms. Meanwhile, we accelerate work on Leviathan and our other projects. We'll appear cooperative and eager to learn. She stood up, looking at each person in the room. For centuries, humanity dreamed of finding others among the stars. Now we have. But we won't be treated as children or servants. The Confederation believes we're simple newcomers to their galactic community. They'll learn differently when the time is right. Park felt a chill of anticipation. For decades, Earth had secretly prepared for this moment, recovering and studying crashed alien vessels, developing technologies beyond what most humans knew existed. Now that preparation would be tested. Admiral Park, Kim said, you'll continue as our military liaison with the Confederation. Learn everything you can about their defensive capabilities and weaknesses. Yes, Madam President. As the meeting ended, Park looked again at the holographic image of Leviathan. The massive ship was nearly complete after 15 years of secret construction. Soon it would reveal to the galaxy that humans were not the simple, primitive species the Confederation believed them to be. The real first contact was yet to come. Colony Administrator Yoon rubbed her tired eyes as she stood on the observation deck of Proxima Station. Through the large window, she watched the approaching medical transport. Its hull bore fresh scorch marks from weapons fire. This was becoming a familiar sight. They're docking now, said Security Chief Han, his voice tight with anger. Medical teams are standing by. Yoon nodded. This is the third raid this month. How many casualties? Early reports say 17 dead, at least 40 wounded. The eastern mining facility is completely destroyed. Yoon slammed her fist against the window frame. And where was our Confederation protection? The same place it always is, nowhere to be found. Han's expression darkened. Their patrol arrived 4 hours after the Morax raiders left, just like the last 2 times. The Morax were a nomadic warrior species known for quick, brutal attacks on vulnerable colonies. When Earth joined the Galactic Confederation 2 years ago, they were promised protection from such threats. That promise had proven empty. The station's medical bay quickly filled with injured colonists. Doctors worked frantically to save the most critically wounded. Yoon walked among them, offering what comfort she could. These were her people, miners, engineers, and their families who had come to build a new life on humanity's first extrasolar colony. Her communicator chimed. The screen showed Admiral Park's ID. She stepped into a private room to answer. Admiral, she said as his face appeared on screen. He looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes. I just heard about the attack, Park said. How bad is it? 17 dead, 42 injured so far. The eastern mining facility is completely destroyed. 3 months of work gone. Park's jaw tightened. I've been in emergency meetings with Confederation officials all day. They've denied our request for additional patrol ships again. Let me guess, resources are stretched thin. That's what they claim. They say the Draxian threat requires them to focus on core Confederation systems. While our people die, Yoon said bitterly. Park glanced around as if checking who might be listening. He leaned closer to the camera and lowered his voice. Not for much longer. Project Leviathan enters final testing next month. Yoon's eyes widened. She knew about the massive secret project, of course. All senior colonial administrators did. Is it ready? Almost. The weapons systems exceeded expectations in the last trial. The drive system needs final calibration. Hope flickered in Yoon's chest for the first time in months. The colonists need something to believe in, Admiral. They're losing faith in Earth's leadership. I know. Tell them to hold on just a little longer. Things are about to change. After ending the call, Yoon returned to the medical bay. As she helped comfort a child whose parents were among the injured, she thought about what Park had said. Project Leviathan had been in development for nearly 2 decades, a massive supercarrier hidden beneath Earth's Pacific Ocean. Built using technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien ships, it would be more advanced than anything the Confederation possessed. When Earth joined the Confederation, they had hidden their true technological capabilities, playing the role of an eager but primitive species. That deception was becoming harder to maintain as tensions grew. Across the galaxy, in the gleaming towers of the Confederation's central chamber, High Commander Tal addressed the Security Council. The chamber was filled with representatives from over 200 species, all senior members of the Galactic Confederation. The situation at the Outer Rim continues to deteriorate, Tal said. Draxian forces have increased their presence near the Arcturus sector. We must redirect our defensive fleets to counter this threat. A council member with iridescent scales raised a clawed hand. What about the recent attacks on human colonies? They've requested additional protection 3 times this cycle. Tell made a dismissive gesture. These human colonies keep demanding protection, yet they contribute minimal resources to our collective defense. Their technology is basic, their military capabilities limited. They must understand that resources go where they will be most effective. The truth was more complex. Since joining the Confederation, humans had proven surprisingly adaptable. Their colonies were expanding faster than predicted. Their mining operations were extracting resources at rates that concerned some Confederation economists. If this continued, humans might gain too much influence too quickly. As Tal continued his address, an aide approached and whispered in his ear. The High Commander's expression shifted subtly, his large eyes narrowing. "One moment," he said to the council. He stepped aside with the aide, speaking in quiet tones. "You're certain?" he asked. "Yes, Commander. Our deep space monitoring systems detected unusual energy signatures from Earth's oceans. The readings are unlike anything we've observed from their technology before." "What kind of signatures?" "Consistent with advanced power systems, much more advanced than what they've shown us. Their primitive shielding can't hide everything." Tell considered this information carefully. When Earth joined the Confederation, his initial assessment had been that humans were an unremarkable species, eager but technologically backward. Their military consisted of basic spacecraft with simple weapons, nothing that could threaten Confederation interests. But there had always been something odd about their behavior. They accepted Confederation technology, but asked surprisingly specific questions. They shared their scientific knowledge freely but seemed to hold back in certain areas. And now these strange energy readings. Increased surveillance on Earth, Tal decided. I want detailed scans of their oceans, particularly the Pacific region where these signatures are strongest. What about their colony protection requests? Tal's mouth formed a thin line. Denied. If they're hiding something, let's see how they respond when pushed further. As Tal returned to the council chamber, he was unaware that his conversation had been monitored. In a small office nearby, a human intelligence officer transmitted an encrypted message to Earth. Surveillance increasing. Leviathan partially detected. Timeline accelerated. Back at Proxima Station, Yoon stood by the window watching the stars. Soon, she thought, the Confederation would learn that humanity wasn't as primitive as they believed. Soon, the balance of power would shift. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the Confederation's central chamber. Hundreds of representatives from across the galaxy rushed to their seats as alarms sounded. This was not a planned meeting. This was a crisis. High Commander Tal entered the chamber looking different than he had ever appeared before. His usual confident stride was replaced by a stiff, hurried walk. His blue skin had paled to a sickly gray. Behind him, military officers from various species spoke urgently into communication devices. "The Emergency Council is now in session," announced the chamber's automated system. Screens around the massive room displayed the same terrible images. Confederation warships broken and burning near Arcturus, a major defensive position that had protected the inner systems for centuries. The Draxian Empire, longtime enemies of the Confederation, had finally broken through. Tal stepped to the central podium. He did not bother with the usual formalities. 3 hours ago, Draxian forces launched a surprise attack on our Arcturus defense fleet, he said, his voice tight. "I regret to inform the Council that we have suffered devastating losses." Gasps and murmurs filled the chamber. A holographic display showed the battle statistics. 3 Confederation capital ships destroyed, 17 cruisers lost, thousands of crew members dead or missing. "The Arcturus defense line has fallen," Tal continued. "Draxian forces are now moving toward the inner systems." A representative from a crystalline species rose. "What are our defensive options?" "Limited," admitted Tal. "We've mobilized all available fleets, but many of our ships were already committed to other sectors." He paused, then added the worst news. 1 hour ago, we received a communication from the Draxian High Command. They demand we surrender the entire Proxima sector and all its colonies, including those recently established by humans. They have given us 48 hours to comply. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Some representatives demanded immediate surrender to save lives. Others called for fighting to the last ship. Ambassador Choi, Earth's representative, sat quietly at the far end of the chamber. Her position at the back row symbolized Earth's status as a new, developing member of the Confederation. She listened to the rising panic, her face calm. Only a slight tapping of her finger on her datapad betrayed any emotion. After 10 minutes of chaotic debate, she rose from her seat. "Earth requests permission to address the Council," she said. Her voice was not loud, but something in her tone cut through the noise. High Commander Tal noticed her and frowned slightly. He gestured impatiently. "We have little time for developing members today, Ambassador," he said. "This crisis requires input from experienced military powers." Several representatives nodded in agreement. Humans were newcomers. What could they contribute to this desperate situation? Ambassador Choi showed no reaction to the slight. She stood straight, her simple gray uniform contrasting with the elaborate clothing of other representatives. "Earth is prepared to assist in the defense against the Draxian advance," she said. A moment of silence followed, then laughter rippled through the chamber. Not cruel laughter, but the kind that comes from stress and disbelief. "With what?" demanded a council member with 4 arms and scaled skin. "Your primitive ships would be obliterated instantly. We've seen your military vessels. They are barely adequate for colonial defense, let alone warfare against the Draxian Empire." Others joined in. "Your weapons technology is centuries behind the Draxians. Your ships lack proper shielding for combat against Imperial forces. This is not the time for naive offers." Ambassador Choi waited for the comments to subside. Then she smiled faintly, a small, confident expression that caught Hal's attention. "We have military capabilities we have not yet revealed to the Confederation," she said simply. "If you would grant us permission to demonstrate at Proxima Centauri, we believe we can resolve this crisis." The chamber fell silent again, but with a different quality this time. Confusion replaced amusement. High Commander Tal stepped closer to the podium, studying Choi carefully. "What capabilities? Your technological level was thoroughly assessed when you joined the Confederation." "Not all of it," Choi replied. "Earth has maintained certain reserves." A tall, thin representative stood up. "This is absurd. Are we to believe humans have secretly developed military technology beyond our knowledge?" "Impossible." Tal raised a hand for silence. Something about Choi's confidence disturbed him. He recalled the strange energy readings detected from Earth's oceans months ago. The investigation had been delayed by the increasing Draxian threat. "What exactly are you offering, Ambassador?" he asked carefully. "A demonstration of Earth's true military capability. One vessel, at Proxima Centauri, within 24 hours. If it proves effective against the Draxian forces, we will deploy additional resources." "One vessel?" Someone scoffed. "The Draxians have sent a fleet of 60 warships." Ambassador Choi nodded. "One vessel will be sufficient for the demonstration." The chamber erupted again. Some representatives demanded to know what technology humans were hiding. Others accused Earth of bluffing to gain political advantage during a crisis. Tail silenced them with a sharp gesture. He studied Choi for a long moment, weighing options. The Confederation was desperate. Their fleets were scattered. Even if the humans were exaggerating, any help might buy valuable time. "Very well," he decided. "You have permission to demonstrate this capability at Proxima Centauri. The Council will observe remotely. But be warned, if this is some kind of deception or delay tactic, there will be severe consequences for Earth's standing in the Confederation." Choi bowed slightly. "We understand. Earth will prepare immediately." As she left the chamber, Tail noticed something troubling. The human ambassador was not walking like someone who had just made a desperate offer. She moved with the confidence of someone whose plans were proceeding exactly as expected. "Monitor all communication to and from Earth," he ordered an aide quietly, "and prepare my personal vessel. I want to observe this demonstration directly." Across the galaxy, Ambassador Choi entered a secure communication room. She activated a quantum-encrypted channel directly to Earth's hidden command center beneath Seoul. "It's time," she said simply. "The Council has authorized the demonstration at Proxima." President Kim's face appeared on the screen. "They took the bait. Excellent work, Ambassador. They're desperate. The Draxian attack was worse than our intelligence suggested." Kim nodded. "Admiral Park has already begun final preparations. The HSS Leviathan will be ready to launch in 12 hours. The Confederation still has no idea what's coming," Choi said. "That's about to change," replied Kim with a small smile. Forever. The observation platform orbiting Proxima Centauri was crowded with important aliens. High Commander Tell stood at the center viewport, surrounded by Confederation military leaders and government officials. Most had traveled across the galaxy to witness what humans claimed would be a demonstration of hidden military power. No one really believed it. The gathered aliens spoke in low voices, some barely hiding their amusement. "Humans are full of surprises," said a reptilian admiral, his scales shimmering under the lights. "But rarely good ones." Tail checked the time display. "The demonstration is scheduled to begin in 10 minutes. The Draxians will arrive in this sector within days, and we're wasting valuable planning time on this display." A small group of human representatives stood quietly at the far end of the platform. They made no attempts to defend themselves against the quiet mockery. Colony Administrator Yoon and Security Chief Han exchanged calm glances as they listened to the aliens' whispered comments. "Their confidence worries me," Han whispered. "They have no idea what's coming." Yoon nodded slightly. "After watching our people die while they made excuses, I'm finding it hard to feel bad for them." The observation platform provided a perfect view of Proxima Centauri and the surrounding space. Several Confederation patrol vessels floated nearby, their crews also watching and waiting. Most expected to see a few outdated human warships emerge from standard faster-than-light travel, the primitive kind that took days to cross between star systems. Commander Tall approached the human representatives. "Your deadline is approaching, Administrator Yoon. When can we expect this demonstration to begin?" Before Yoon could answer, every communication device on the platform activated simultaneously. Screens lit up, translators hummed to life, and personal communicators vibrated. From Earth came a simple message that appeared in the language of each species present. "Observation advised. HSS Leviathan emerging." Tail frowned. "What is happening?" "No communication should override all channels like this." His aide checked a monitoring device. "Sir, We're receiving visual feed from Earth's Pacific Ocean region. It's being broadcast across all Confederation networks. The main viewing screen on the platform switched to show Earth's Pacific Ocean. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then the water began to move. Not like normal waves, but as if something massive was stirring beneath the surface. The ocean began to churn violently. Huge sections of the seafloor visibly shifted aside, revealing massive metal structures beneath. What had appeared to be natural ocean floor was actually an enormous concealed door, now opening to reveal a hidden construction bay. "Impossible," whispered a Confederation scientist. "Our scans detected nothing of this scale." From the opening rose a vessel unlike anything the Confederation had ever seen. The HSS Leviathan emerged slowly, water cascading from its hull as it rose majestically into the air. Section by section, it revealed itself, a supercarrier so vast that its true scale became apparent only when it fully cleared the surface. 17 kilometers in length, gasped the aide, reading from his scanner. "That's more than 3 times the size of our largest dreadnought." The ship continued rising, its dark hull gleaming with strange lights and technology that didn't match any known Confederation designs. It hovered above Earth's ocean, water still streaming from its massive frame. "How did they build this in secret?" demanded Tal. "How did we not detect it?" Before anyone could answer, the Leviathan's engines flared with brilliant blue-white energy. The ship tilted upward and accelerated into the atmosphere at impossible speed. Within seconds, it had vanished from Earth's sky. The observation platform fell silent. Even the most skeptical officials stared at the screens in shock. Then someone pointed out the viewport. "Look!" Space itself seemed to fold and distort near Proxima Centauri. A point of intense light appeared, expanding into what looked like a tear in the fabric of reality. From this opening emerged the HSS Leviathan, its enormous bulk dwarfing the nearby Confederation vessels. A communications officer checked his instruments with shaking hands. 3 minutes, he said. 3 minutes from Earth to Proxima Centauri. "Impossible," breathed Tal. "That transit should have taken days, not minutes. No known technology can achieve this speed." The Leviathan moved with surprising grace for something so massive. Its hull featured no obvious weapons, but strange patterns across its surface suggested capabilities far beyond conventional warships. It took up position near the Proxima colony, its presence utterly dominating the space around it. Captain Song's voice came across all channels, calm and professional. "HSS Leviathan reporting for duty. We stand ready to engage the Draxian fleet." Tal rushed to a communication panel. "This is High Commander Tal. I demand to speak with whoever is in command of that vessel." The main screen switched to show the Leviathan's bridge. Captain Song sat in a command chair, surrounded by a crew working efficiently at stations featuring technology the Confederation had never seen. "High Commander," Song acknowledged with a slight nod. "The HSS Leviathan is at your service. How did you build this ship without our knowledge? How did you transport it here so quickly? These technologies are beyond what any developing species should possess." Song smiled slightly. "With respect, Commander, Earth has never been a developing species. We chose to present ourselves that way while we completed our preparations." "Preparations for what?" "For joining the galactic community as equals, not as subordinates." Another officer approached Tal, his expression grave. "Sir, our scans of the human vessel show energy readings beyond anything in our database. Their shielding technology is impenetrable to our sensors. And there's something else." "What?" demanded Tal. "The ship's design includes elements similar to ancient precursor technology. Technology that was thought lost for millennia." Tal's eyes widened. The precursors were a legendary species said to have ruled the galaxy long before the Confederation existed. Their technology was the stuff of myths. Faster than light travel without the limitations of current methods, weapons that could reshape planets, energy sources that never depleted. "How is this possible?" he asked. On the observation platform, Administrator Yoon stepped forward. Earth has been recovering crashed alien vessels for centuries before official first contact. We studied them, learned from them, and built upon that knowledge. She gestured toward the massive ship visible through the viewport. The Leviathan is just the first of our fleet. There are more being completed even now. Tail looked from Hume to the ship and back again. Everything he thought he knew about humans had been wrong. They weren't primitive newcomers to the galactic stage. They had been waiting, watching, and preparing. The Drexians will be here in less than 30 hours, Captain Song said from the screen. We suggest you prepare to observe our combat capabilities. Alarm systems blared across the Proxima system. Long-range sensors had detected the Drexian fleet approaching. 60 warships strong, they moved in perfect formation toward the human colony. At the center of their fleet floated their feared dreadnought, a massive vessel that had destroyed countless Confederation ships over the centuries. On the observation platform, Confederation officials watched with growing dread. Their own military forces in the system consisted of just 3 patrol ships, nothing that could stand against the coming attack. The Drexians will be in weapons range in 20 minutes, reported a Confederation officer. High Commander Tull turned to Administrator Yun. Your supercarrier is impressive, but even a vessel of that size cannot hope to defeat 60 warships. Yun's expression remained calm. Watch and learn, Commander. The HSS Leviathan moved into position between the approaching fleet and the colony. Despite its enormous size, it moved with surprising speed and grace. Inside the Leviathan's command bridge, Captain Song sat in his chair, studying the tactical displays. The bridge was spacious and filled with technology unlike anything seen on Confederation vessels. The crew worked with quiet efficiency, preparing for battle. All systems report ready, Captain, said his first officer. Song nodded. The Drexians have refused all communication attempts. Yes, sir. They're maintaining radio silence. Song rose from his chair and addressed the bridge crew. For centuries, humanity prepared for this moment. We recovered crashed alien ships. We studied technology beyond our understanding. We built this vessel in secret, while the galaxy underestimated us. He looked at each crew member. Today, we showed the true strength of Earth. Commence defensive formation. Weapons systems online. Throughout the massive supercarrier, things began to change. Its smooth hull seemed to shimmer and transform. Thousands of small ports opened simultaneously across its surface. From these openings emerged swarms of autonomous defense drones, each about the size of a small car. They deployed in perfect precision, forming complex geometric patterns around the Leviathan. On the Confederation observation platform, military analysts stared in disbelief. Those weapon systems, one whispered. They're incorporating technology even we haven't mastered. Another added, the drone formation. It's creating some kind of energy field. Tell watched with growing amazement as the Leviathan prepared for battle. Everything he thought he knew about human capabilities was being overturned before his eyes. The Drexian fleet came within range and opened fire without warning. Hundreds of energy weapons discharged simultaneously, sending a wave of destructive force toward the Leviathan. The observers held their breath, expecting to see the human vessel crippled or destroyed by the massive barrage. Instead, the swarm of drones intercepted the incoming fire. The energy was absorbed, redirected, and dissipated harmlessly. The Leviathan remained untouched. Impossible, breathed Tile. Their shielding technology is beyond anything we've achieved. The Drexians launched a second attack, this time sending missiles and fighter craft along with energy weapons. Again, the Leviathan's defensive systems neutralized the threat with apparent ease. Then the human vessel counterattacked. From ports along its hull emerged beams of concentrated energy, precisely targeted at the Drexian ships. But instead of destroying the vessels, these beams seemed to pass through their hulls, leaving them intact but powerless. They're targeting propulsion and weapons systems only, realized a Confederation tactical officer. They're disabling, not destroying. Ship after ship in the Drexian fleet went dark. drifting helplessly in space. Even their mighty dreadnought couldn't withstand the precision attacks. Its engines failed, its weapons went offline, and its communication systems stopped working. Within 30 minutes, the entire Draxian fleet had been neutralized without a single ship being destroyed. Captain Song's voice came across all channels. "Draxian vessels, your ships have been disabled but not destroyed. Your life support systems remain functioning. We offer terms of surrender." For several long moments, there was silence. Then, from the Draxian flagship, came a simple message: "We surrender." The Battle of Proxima Centauri was over. 3 days later, the Confederation's central chamber was filled beyond capacity. Representatives from every member species gathered to witness something unprecedented. Earth, which had joined as a developing member just 2 years earlier, was being granted full membership with all associated rights and privileges. Ambassador Choi stood at the central podium, the position of honor typically reserved for the most respected members of the Confederation. Her simple gray uniform contrasted with the elaborate clothing worn by other representatives. Humanity developed in isolation, but not in ignorance. She explained to the assembled delegates, "We recovered alien technology from crashes on our planet centuries before official contact. We studied, we learned, we prepared." She activated a holographic display showing images of crashed ships that had been recovered on Earth throughout human history. While the rest of the galaxy assumed we were just beginning our journey to the stars, we had already learned many of its secrets. We chose to conceal our true capabilities until we understood the political landscape. A representative stood to ask a question. "Why reveal yourselves now? Why not continue your deception?" Choi's expression grew serious. "Because the Confederation faces a genuine threat in the Draxian Empire, and because our people were dying while being treated as second-class citizens. Neither situation was acceptable." After the formal session ended, High Commander Tal approached Ambassador Choi in a quiet corridor. "I must apologize for our misconceptions about your species," he said, looking uncomfortable. "We have treated humans unfairly." Choi smiled. "A common error, Commander. People often mistake politeness for weakness and reservation for limitation. The HSS Leviathan's technology could revolutionize Confederation defense systems. Your drone swarm alone could transform how we approach space combat. We're prepared to share certain technologies, yes." Till nodded slowly. The Confederation would welcome Earth as a full member, with all associated privileges, equal standing with even our oldest members. "We accept," Choi replied. "After all, we're stronger together, as true equals." As she walked away, Tal couldn't help but wonder what other secrets humans might be keeping. In just 2 years, they had gone from apparent newcomers to one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. On Earth, President Kim watched the Confederation proceedings via secure transmission. Beside her stood Admiral Park and the other architects of humanity's carefully planned reveal. "Phase 1 complete," said Park with satisfaction. "The galaxy now knows we are not to be underestimated." Kim nodded. "And the Leviathan, currently escorting the captured Draxian fleet back to Confederation space. Captain Song reports all systems performing beyond expectations." "And our other projects?" Park smiled. "Proceeding on schedule. The Leviathan is impressive, but it's just the beginning of what humanity can accomplish." Kim looked at the holographic display, showing the massive supercarrier that had changed humanity's place in the galaxy forever. "For centuries, we looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone," she said quietly. "Now we know our place among them. Not as newcomers or students, but as equals, perhaps someday as leaders."